What's going on, guys? I think you guys are interested in this fragrance. We haven't talked about frags from the house of Ralph Lauren in a while. And when I hear this fragrance gets mentioned quite a bit, surprisingly. So I guess this is at your guys' request. Strap up, let's go for that ride. All right, welcome to the Scent Bubble. I am your host for the evening, actually. It's good to see you guys, man. From the house of Ralph Lauren, we've got a little decant here of Polo 67 for men. I've heard this name a lot, and I know I've smelled this fragrance, but it's been a while. So let's just get an initial impressions on this bad boy. From the looks of things, I think it's a blue fragrance, but who knows? Let's check. You know, it smells very reminiscent of a lot of fragrances in the to me category. Super aromatic. It's like a herbal, uber modern fougere with like a lot of this kind of Burberry sweetness to it. You guys have smelled a lot of fragrances like this, but I think with this one, it's a really smooth blend, so it'll probably stand out from a lot of fragrances. I can see why there's a lot of hype around this. I'm interested in the performance, though. It's a kind of softer YSL kind of feel. Would I call it a blue? No, it's got too much sweetness. It's like a sweet, aromatic, citric fragrance. And it is smooth. There's no real synthetics to this. I just think it's quite generic. But I think in the generic category, it actually will stand out because it feels like a parfum. And I'm interested in seeing if it is. Notes, let's see. It's an eau de toilette. Wow. This doesn't feel like an EDT. It feels like a parfum. Let's see what we're dealing with. Pineapple, bergamot, lemon. Interesting. So that's the sweetness there. It's not like a vanilla or anything. It's pineapple and bergamot, you know. Pineapple, bergamot, lemon up top. Lemon's not really there to me personally. Sage, juniper, and rosehip. How does rosehip come off? I'm just curious. Does it come off sweet, a rosy, fruity note? Okay, so that's adding to a little bit of the sweetness, but maybe the rosehip is rounding off the pineappleness because there isn't really a tart to this pineapple. This feels like a very YSLY type of fragrance, but a little bit softer, a little more parfumish. Definitely herbal, aromatic from the sage and juniper. There's a lot of that in this fragrance. That's why it reminded me of kind of like a to me fragrance. And then, you know, vetiver in the base puts a smile on my face. Patchouli and goldenrod. What in the world is that? You can search. It just says flowers, no real descriptors. So I can't really speak to what it's doing to the fragrance. I definitely get a lot of sage, juniper, rosehip, pineapple, bergamot. Those are the key notes for me. The lemon is non-existent. The vetiver, I think, is just what's smoothing and giving this a more natural feel as opposed to a synthetic feel. Patchouli's not really in it for me. Goldenrod, I mean, it feels yellow, for lack of better words. I know that means actually nothing to you guys, but I don't actually experience an accord that makes me think of florals as much as aromatic, you know, plant life type of thing. But yeah, this is nice. I mean, you would think this is kind of like a to-me take on like a Creed Aventus, but it's not Aventus at all. I think, let me look at YSLY real quick. I just want to make sure I'm not bugging. Is there pineapple in YSLY? No, it's apple bergamot. But there goes the sage and the juniper in the mid. And that apple can very much, I don't want to say come across as pineapple, but it's essentially a fruit paired with bergamot sitting on sage and juniper. It's got the vetiver in the base. Okay, so it is somewhat similar. I imagine this just feels a little smoother, softer, and sweeter. but it definitely does feel like a parfum. It really doesn't feel like an eau de toilette. There's not this like really loud pop to the opening. It's very smooth. I dig it. Question for me is gonna be how much. How much can we get a fragrance like this on? Like, let's just go to Joma, for instance. So 50 for a 75. Oh, this is a 2.5. So 125 ml for 100. I don't know, guys. I mean, if you don't know anything, I mean, a 75 for 50 is not bad at all. I don't think you need 100 ml of a fragrance. Put it this way. If you just started to acquire fragrance and you got 100 ml of this would be like an everyday fragrance for you, despite the sweetness. I think it's just right behind borderline too sweet. It's like a 6 out of 10. Definitely kind of has, again, like a Burberry level of sweetness. So if this was your first fragrance you ever got, you would love it. You'd be in great hands because it's going to beat out a lot of the synthetic aromatics, a lot of your Mont Blancs. It's going to last a little bit longer than your Bentleys and stuff like that. It's going to be better than Gucci. It's not really going to compete with YSL, but why should it at this price point? But this is just kind of like a staple, versatile wear. Let's go back out to the main screen for half a second. Let me just do my typical rundown. So for me, this is very much like a softer, more rounder YSL Y kind of take, mixed with some Burberry type of sweetness. I wouldn't really call it a blue. I'm shocked that it's an EDT, but it does smell good. It's just, once you get into the fragrance world of other aromatic fragrances, with mainly with sage and juniper, this may fall short in performance, or it just may be generic and make you think of a lot of other fragrances. If you have any experience with Toomey fragrances, this is very reminiscent of stuff like that. I mean, shoot, we gave away a bottle of True Religion EDT original that smelled very much like this, just a little more synthetic than this. This is actually better than that fragrance by a little bit, but they essentially had the same components to it, juniper, sage, geranium, vetiver in a base, cedar, top with bergamot, and then some random pick of the litter fruit. But I'm not hating. It's a good scent. It's an average scent to me, but it's a good scent. Very well-rounded, no synthetics. If you can get an average scent that doesn't smell synthetic, you have a really nice utility starter kit type of fragrance, and that's what this strikes me as. I would say any season, any reason, better performing in the colder weather just due to the sweetness, but it's not overly sweet. It's got enough aromatics to be an everyday wear for a teenager. I think once you start to get into college and up, it starts to feel more like a Nautica Voyage type of utility fragrance. There's no star power to it, but you will smell good and clean. And by clean, I just mean like you have decent taste, This is a tier starter kit fragrance, but once you go beyond that, it goes straight to average and generic right away. But in the generic category of kind of rack store finds and stuff like that, this would sit above the rest because as an EDT, it feels very much like a matured parfum. Everything's a lot smoother. So even though it's familiar, it's smoother. Therefore, it feels like better quality. I'm sure a lot of young guys 25 and under really dig this. But again, I think it's just a tier starter kit type of fragrance with a ton of utility. Again, even though it shines in colder months, I think it's a year-round fragrance. This feels like a casual and upscale casual type of fragrance. Light gym, out of the shower, going to school, casual wear. There's not, again, for me, it sits casual and then somewhere between casual and upscale casual. It's not the most upscale, but the younger you are, the more upscale it will feel. I give it about a 7, solid 7 out of 10. The price point is okay. I definitely don't think this warrants the 125 ml version. They sell a 125 tester on Joma for 65. I honestly, this fragrance should be In the same way that like Dolce and Gabbana, they're still trying to sell that for like $40 in the rack store. I think that's where this fragrance should fall. Like truthfully, it should be a $40 fragrance for the 75 ml at a Burlington or a Ross or TJ Maxx type of feel. I don't think you should. Even the 50 for 75 ml is like, you're almost doing too much. But again, I do like the formulation, so I think it's probably worth the money. You know, $50 in today's world would be a good price for a kid who wants a everyday utility fragrance. So again, for me, it's a 7 out of 10. The younger you are, it may push you in the 8 out of 10 range, but it's a solid one. You know, if you struggle to find solid fragrances at that price point, or just as a starter fragrance, maybe you're a rack store shopper, this could definitely be a great option for you. Sprays on this, I really don't know. Let's take a look in terms of longevity. Let's see what the score is here. It says it's not that long lasting as an EDT. So I'm just going to say 8 to 10 sprays minimum to get this thing to go for you. You might be lucky to get 4 to 6 hours out of it. But with a fragrance like this, you cake it on once, you cake it on in the middle of the day if absolutely necessary, but it should get you through a shift if that's helpful for you. Again, we went over the occasion, the season, the utility, the price, and all that. Let me know in the comment section if you guys have tried this fragrance. Again, I feel like this is borderline a requested review because the younger crowd always mentions this fragrance either in my lives or in FragCom. I see it get brought up a lot, so I'm happy to review it for you guys so you can see kind of where I think it fits in someone's collection. Banger starter kit fragrance, but as you develop, it gets more generic. And there are other alternatives to this. YSL for sure would be a slight upgrade to this. Anything from To Me is going to get you in the realm of this. Even some of the Bentley offerings. True Religion EDT is very close to this, just slightly more synthetic on some like Mont Blanc type of synthetics. But anyways, this was a review of Ralph Lauren's Polo 67 for men. I was shocked it was an EDT. I thought it was a parfum, and it's a 7 out of 10 for me. So sound off in the comments if you have any more questions. And until next time, hey, be blessed.